Boxing Doc. How does Gennadievich Golovkin, aka Triple G, stop Canelo? I'm going to let you know. But before we proceed any further, it's important for you guys to know that this is part 2 of Boxing Doc's prognosis on how Triple G stops Canelo. So if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out. Brief summary about part 1. I was basically arguing against the notion that Canelo will have success against Triple G just because of the limited success that Kell Brook and Danny Jacobs had against Triple G. Those fights should not be used as a marker to determine how successful Canelo is going to be against Triple G. If you want to hear why, go check out that video. I'll leave a link to that video in this video here. Whose car is going off? God damn. Man. You know what? I'll be right back. Alright, so I was able to call the towing services. The car is towed from my premises. And let's continue with this video. Nah, I'm playing. Yeah, that'd be ruthless if I could do that. Like, if I could somehow be that evil to do that, that'd be ruthless. But I didn't do it. It just stopped beeping by itself. But on with this video, guys. So, I'm going to explain to you tactically how Triple G is going to stop Canelo. You guys have probably seen an episode of National Geographic, and you're watching a lion stalking out its prey, let's say a gazelle, and it's patiently just putting pressure on the gazelle, forcing the gazelle into positions and areas that will make the gazelle more vulnerable for an attack by the lion. And then the lion starts the chase. The gazelle is aware of what's coming, so it gets a little head start and starts running for its dear life. Eventually, the lion, and of course it's always running with its pride, is able to stalk down the gazelle, get a hold of it, and do what it has to do. Now, when it's hunting a bigger animal, let's say like a wild boar, or I don't know, whatever bigger animal you want to propose, it takes a little while to break down this animal to the point where it's just food. And so I'm going to give Canelo the credit of being a bigger animal. But eventually what always happens is the lion starts to tear away at the flesh, starts to tear away at the abdomen, eventually eviscerates the animal, expels its contents from its abdominal cavity, and eats the animal alive. That is not going to be dissimilar to what's going to take place in the ring September 16th when we have Triple G in there with Canelo. Triple G will slowly and patiently stalk down Canelo until he just eviscerates him and eats him alive. But this is what we like about our sport, right? The blood and guts. The kill or be killed. With all due respect to Canelo, I hope he comes out of that ring the same man he walked in. I hope no one gets seriously injured in this fight. But you're dealing with bombs in this fight, even on Canelo's end. Canelo can punch too. Obviously not to the degree that Golovkin can, but these are bombs that are in the ring, and it is that type of fight, that kill or be killed type of fight. In all seriousness though, Triple G is going to come out in the first round and establish his jab, as he always does against threatening opponents. Opponents who have power, opponents who have speed that can hurt him. He knows that Canelo can be a threat, and so he's not going to come out reckless. He's going to come out like he comes out against all power punchers and establish that jab. as he did against David Lemieux, as he did against Danny Jacobs. And yes, Canelo has improved in terms of being able to move his head a little bit more now, although he doesn't have great head movement. I think it's, at times, it's top tier head movement. So he'll make him miss a few jabs. Canelo may even counter some of the jabs and may be successful in doing so because he does have the hand speed advantage. But Golovkin has the timing advantage. And I think timing beats speed every single time when you're able to execute your timing. So you're going to have Golovkin landing this jab, and not only will it land, but it's going to land heavily. It's going to land flush. It's going to land accurately. And this is slowly going to unwind Canelo. And Canelo will start to see that he really has no answer or no solution for this jab, especially since he's at a reach deficit. He can't even jab with the jabber. He's going to get the worst of that exchange. His best bet would be to try to counter the jab or use head movement and try to deter Triple G from using the jab by maybe making him miss the jab a lot. It's not going to happen though. Not from what I envision. I see Triple G landing that jab the entire duration of the fight. It will take about 3 to 4 rounds for Golovkin to establish that jab, to have authority with that jab, and to essentially claim the mantle of being the ring general at that point in the fight. Once that is done, you're going to see Golovkin start to get creative. He won't just primarily be a lead hand fighter at that point. He's going to start to mix it up. I've seen Golovkin throw these sneaky uppercuts, these sneaky right hand hook, punches coming from all angles that you don't anticipate. And that's what you're going to see when I'm talking about him getting creative. Things like going into the peekaboo position, putting up the high guard, his opponent mirroring that action, thinking that they're about to start fighting on the inside, and then out of nowhere him coming out of that guard and firing an uppercut or a sneaky left hook, catching his opponent off guard. And those are punches that hurt, not only because Triple G hits hard as fuck, but because his opponents don't see the punch coming. They don't see the punch coming. They don't expect it. Boxing Doc predicts. Boxing Doc's prognosis spells out that this creative phase lasts for about an additional 4 to 5 rounds maximum. This is probably an 8th or a 9th round stoppage, 10th at best for Canelo. At that point, Golovkin will sense that Canelo has had the fight sufficiently beat out of him. He will sense that he's been hurt, he's been gassed, and he will go for the finishing blow. This is where he will eviscerate him by throwing his favorite punch, left hook to the lower ribs, that sends Canelo crashing to the floor. Now I know some of you may be thinking, this was a very one-sided depiction of how this fight is going to unravel tactically. No tactics of Canelo were displayed here, or were explained. Yes, you're right, and I'm going to have another video describing what Canelo can do to prevent this from happening, and what Canelo can do to establish his own success. So look forward to that. Although I'm very skeptical of any success being had on Canelo's part, I will have a video for that. But the reason why I don't really have anything for Canelo in this particular video is that we have to understand the styles and the habits of these fighters. Canelo loves to have his fighters come to him so that he can have them in one place and get off on them and catch them when they don't expect it. So much so to the point where he gravitates towards the ropes and lets his opponents get off on him. I've seen this in the Mayweather fight. I've seen this in the James Kirkland fight. I've seen this in a multitude of fights from Canelo. There's spots in the fight where he just lets the fighters put him on the ropes. Even in the Liam Smith fight, that is something dangerous to do against Triple G. A guy who is, his habit, his style is to come out and stalk you and put you into compromised positions, put you in the corner, put you on the ropes, have you stationary so he can get off. And if he gets off and he hits you, it's trouble for you. So all I'm doing is really going off the styles of these two fighters. Canelo, when in the heat of battle, is going to go to what he knows best, and that's to let the fighter come to him. And I think ultimately that's going to be his demise, because Golovkin is going to love that. That's like the gazelle staying stationary and saying, "Motherfucker, come get me," to the lion. The lion's gonna be like, "Okay, man. Damn, son. You fucked up. You know that, right? You a goner now." And that's what's going to take place in this fight. That's what I 100% believe. So stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to explain in depth how Canelo can prevent this. And we will see if this is what happens on September 16th. But until then, I'll have more videos for this fight and more breakdown for this fight. I hope you guys are enjoying this Boxing Doc Prognosis Part 2. Again, if you haven't checked out the Part 1, I'm going to leave the link in this video. Go check it out. Leave your comments in the section below. Boxing family, am I right? Am I wrong? What's your depiction of how this fight goes down? I look forward to it. Until the next video, it's the Boxing Doc signing off.